I redesigned a thumbnail for a small creator. He asked for feedback on Reddit about his thumbnail and overall style, and instead of just leaving a comment, I thought, why not show it visually? I'm starting a new series, thumbnail breakdowns and glow-ups, for creators who deserve more than 5 pity clicks from their mom. So if you're grinding and tired of YouTube ghosting your uploads, subscribe, drop a comment, and maybe I'll roast your thumbnail next. I know this pain. You spend hours writing, filming, editing, and then boom, 7 views. Not because your video sucks, but because the thumbnail does. I've been there too many times. Also, let's be real, sometimes the ugliest, most rushed thumbnail performs better than the one you spent 3 hours polishing. If you know, you know. That's why I'm doing this, to figure out what actually makes people click, what gets buried in the noise, and what gives your video a fighting chance. This first creator, I found them in a Reddit thread. They weren't asking me specifically, but hey, I needed a guinea pig, let's jump in. Quick side note. I spent so long working on this video that by the time I finally uploaded it, the creator had already changed their thumbnail. But hey, the new one isn't that different, just less text. So I guess we're still good. Okay, so let's start with the OG thumbnail, the one with mixing vocals in neon yellow, black background, and that waveform in the corner. First off, yeah, Reddit already said it, too much text. But let's look at the vibe. Visually, it's very presentation core. It's giving, next slide please. The composition is clean, I'll give you that, but too clean. It feels like a keynote from an audio tech expo, not a YouTube video I want to click on. And sure, the waveform in the corner tries to whisper audio, but it's the only thing doing any storytelling. The rest, minimal, polite. TLDR, this thumbnail isn't bad, it's just too academic. It doesn't promise energy, it doesn't spark curiosity. It says, I made this in Canva and was Now, the updated one, the Reddit version, is honestly a step up. The background's cleaner, the face is better lit, the pose is stronger, we've got some energy now. But let's be real, it's still a little too safe. The color palette is softer, which helps readability, but there's still no focal point that grabs you in a split-second scroll. You fix the worst offenders, but it still doesn't sell the value of the video. Like, this is about heavy vocal mixing, right? Then make it look heavy, aggressive, impactful. This still whispers, I need it to punch. No original assets, cool. I did what any mildly unhinged thumbnail designer would do. I dove straight into the video and hit pause at the cleanest frame I could find. Screenshot, secured. Then I used an AI tool to cut the guy out of the background and dropped him into Photoshop. Smash like if you also thought we still had to do that part manually. Anyway, composition time. I placed the creator on the left using the good old rule of thirds. Why? Because the eye likes balance and thumbnails are just visual psychology. Then I hit the classic wall. What the hell do I actually write on this thumbnail? Like, how do you explain the value of the video in one sharp, scroll-stopping phrase without sounding like a clickbait scammer? At this point, the original had way too much text. And let's be real, if I see a wall of words, I just scroll. So the goal here, one key message. Fast, sharp, clear. Don't let people get tired before they even click. Next, color and contrast. I ran the screenshot through Camera Raw, pumped up the brightness and clarity, then warped an Ableton screenshot for the background. Added a bit of neon glow for vibes. Kinda looks like a cyberpunk studio now, and I'm okay with that. Now, here's a trick I swear by. I flipped the whole thing to black and white, just for a second. It tells me how well the subject stands out. And here's the thing, even though he was the brightest thing on the screen, he was still blending into the background. So I grabbed a soft brush, darkened the area behind him, and added rim light from that pink Ableton track in the back. Tried a few color variations, but surprise, the original color scheme slapped the hardest. Boosted the brightness on him one more time, just to make sure he pops. Now, the fun part. Text. I ditched the original and went with something punchier. A $0 vocal chain that sounds pro? Yeah, that's a headline. Simple, specific, curious. Exactly what a good thumbnail needs. Then I wanted to make the Ableton vibe extra clear, so I used ChatGPT to help generate a clean, 3D style Ableton logo. Dropped it into the composition using the rule of thirds again and made it float over his hand. Added a little glow, blended it in with a soft brush, done. With the core composition locked, I ran the whole thing through Stable Diffusion. Now, here's the deal with that AI. It totally butchers faces, but the rest, the lighting, the polish, the way it merges everything into one clean scene, chef's kiss. But yeah, it turned the guy into a woman, like full on face swap. So I did what needed to be done. Mask out the face, erase the weird fingers, kept only what looked natural. No offense, AI girl, just not today. And finally, my favorite part. FX time. I dropped in some texture layers, added particles, blended everything with overlay modes, and signed it all. Overall, this guy's on the right track, but he's playing it too polite. If your content is professional-grade audio production, the thumbnail should say that at first glance. Right now, it says, "Hi, I'm soft and technical," when it should say, "I will destroy your mix problems in 5 minutes." Stay weird, stay punchy, stay clickable, and don't be afraid to look a little cringe. That's usually where the good stuff starts.